Yeah, this is fine. Standpoint, good, be good. I'm just doing a test to see like when people are gonna stand that, and this thing actually looks good, so I'm good. I'm good, YouTube. Oh no! I'm just talking to myself live.
You got that?
Yeah. In 5 minutes. At the YouTube, you can. At the YouTube channel. Yeah, because I have the family. Like, oh, wait.
The last minute I thought about going to my channel, and I was like, I've never done that before. I don't watch the start.
If you have your laptop, the webcam is very easy. That's what I did for my Face Cafe for 2 years. I did every single live stream through that.
Yeah, I thought it'd be easy, but just since I'd never done it, and I was coming up with all these questions to trying to, because I was collecting the history of this computer, so then
Well, that came later, but it's funny that it all relates. Like, you always play the life of relative. And later on in life, I start studying Christian things in college. Gives me some eventually came into the right now, the protagonist I'm creating this mythology. I don't believe in writers. I don't love writers. I think this one I've never had it. If I want to know what I write next, what I'll do is chapter and read it. All right, so this is where it is. What I want to see.
So you know where we're like.
I think we should get started soon. People are wondering what's going on. Nobody else is really
Right. I already told 5 minutes, so
yeah.
yeah. Because I also try to finish at home with working outside, and then it's working. No, the internet and the live stream, yeah. Yeah. That's one thing I do for every single live stream that I do. The laptop check is working. See the audio is fine. So it's a little tricky. Yeah.
I mean, after this, I guess I don't have another event until I go to the right. Yeah. I do have an idea for an event I want to. Sometimes we're in here where I get like 3 or 4 like quotes from the IE and like an IE.
Oh, that's
Yeah. So I put together a lot of things that are kind of hard.
but I wrote the novel for 2 years. Yeah. But this year it's up in the air because like there's like now 3 sets of like the vendors for the whole year for the final year of Peter Harrison. I know the first 2 sets, but not the last set. Yeah.
Like, a few years ago, I was at that office that I was there, like, me, I was there, and we had, we had like a and, work for right now. And then this year, that was about place, writing about place, and this year, like, wait, you can do like,
Oh, yeah.
so me, and then Steve Sanchez, and then oh, hey.
But she's doing Diosa and I don't know what else.
And then Nikolai got his accepted something that with it.
Yeah.
And I haven't really looked at who else.
Oh yeah.
The reason I really kind of hopefully like kind of literary event that for my first one, but it's really simple and easy that they accept it and everything. Yeah, I have an idea.
Hey, how's it going, man? How you doing? Good, I'm Jesse. Nice to meet you. Yeah, have a seat. We're gonna start in like 2 minutes for the event. Oh, no. Well, good to see you. Yeah.
Sorry. This is my friend.
All right, everyone that's here. Welcome to Trench School of Prose. This is a spin-off series for Trench School of Poets here at Pages Machine. This is the second edition of me hosting this event here with Nikolai and Mauricio, who's here in the audience today. Thank you so much. And then for this month, I do have a special guest co-host with me, and his name is Brian Dunlap from Los Angeles Literature. So he writes articles on various like events that happen throughout like the LA poetry scene and part of OC as well. So to start us off, I'm gonna have Brian Dunlap read us a nonfiction piece.
I'll just read the beginning part of this nonfiction piece that I was so motivated at the beginning of the year to finally finish and send out to be published. And I got down to it, and I really got it done. And then I've just let it sit there for the rest of the year, and I haven't even tried to submit it or anything. So hopefully this will push me to start submitting it. And yeah, thank you for asking me to co-host, and thanks for Page Against Machine for hosting again. And yeah, what I do with Los Angeles Literature is I found that it's a publication that covers the literary community, and I've been doing it for years, but I realized I needed to officially relaunch and redesign it so it can be an official publication because I was only covering 1% of the community, I felt like. And yeah, I relaunched it to the site so people can submit an album for submissions of articles about the community or interviews with LA writers and literary figures and literary criticism on them and literary history of the community and even book reviews and stuff. And so yeah, it's open year round. There's always going to be news about the community, and I got some cards if anybody's interested, or later they can have. And yeah, just Los Angeles literature was kind of born out of not knowing about being born and raised here, not knowing that there was this community here. And then I'm in grad school in Fresno, and I stumble across Mike Sonskin's articles about the literary community, and I'm like, what the hell? Where I could have used this when I was growing up, for not to know these people, or they're like right in my city, like what, So I wanted people to start knowing about it. So anyway, and then this I guess the only thing I'm not sure about is the title for this essay, so I don't really think I have one, but I guess I could say it's like I wanted nowhere else in the world. I stand 377 feet above my city, Los Angeles, in Kenneth Hahn State Rec area. It's Memorial Day, and I stare out over where Culver City and white Los Angeles merge into black LA, lost in thought. As I stare at a distinct section of mid-century rolling hills in the foreground, I start to think, as I always do as I look out over the city, like a city planner, how our design of place, these quiet rows lined with bungalows and mid-century ranches, sanctioned off by two distinct boulevards, dictate our interaction with place, how we live. Like this neighborhood was stitched into the city with suburbia in mind, while the section of La Cienega Boulevard to the west was built with dreams of a small filled freeway that never materialized. Like so much of the LA basin spread out before me, this section of Baldwin Hills creates a distinct neighborhood that stitched to the rest of the city by long, straight arteries, causes distances to feel further away than they are. Our relationship with others are more tenuous, as their unique neighborhoods feel a world away. But I can't help but think how incredible it is that for the most part, Angelenos have made it work. We've created distinct cultures that have been exported across the world. Chicken X, gangster rap, skateboarding, authentic fusion cuisine. Still, looking across the city, I see two office towers jutting into the sky, naked to the west in a neighborhood where there has never been one. And I'm reminded of the city's runaway development being capitalized, how precarious these lives we built are. The power of developers and their supporters who try to convince the public that the housing shortage, as homes and apartments sit empty, to abandon our single-family neighborhoods and the communities and lives we built for dense development of apartments and lots, where they can make a nice profit off the development itself. We can, along with property managers, make a tidy profit in rent while our money goes towards a home we do not own. Yet, as these issues take over my thoughts, I still feel the history here. Live. The Baldwin Hills Reservoir, whose dam collapsed disastrously here in 1963, washed away nearby residents. The native Tongva who used these hills to forage for acorn nuts to host live oak to make acorn mush, the culinary staple. And I stand here among fence lizards who scuttled across the parched dirt and Buick wrens who sing short high notes from above. And I know I want to live nowhere else in the world. And I'll stop there.
Well, thank you so much for that, Brian. One line that I really took away from there, and I really thought it was really clever, is saying "make it to the west." And I wrote down in a comment on YouTube, literally or figuratively. So I thought that was really interesting there, because there's people from the East Coast that to this day, they still don't really get what it's like to live out here in the West Coast. So I guess that makes sense. Wait. Okay. All right, so we're going to start off this event with Natalie Sierra, and Brian's going to go ahead and introduce Natalie.
It's a pleasure to hear Natalie read again, and I've seen her read several times around LA, and she's one of the most unique writers I've ever met. But Natalie Sierra is a first-generation Latinx author and poet. She is the author of the feminist retelling of Medusa from DSTL Arts, for which her poem Medusa is My Sister was nominated for a Pushcart Prize. The work has been featured in dozens of publications, including Dryland, Westwind, a Journal of the Arts from UCLA, Medium, and the Los Angeles Times. In addition to her own poetic endeavors, Natalie is the editor-in-chief of Quiet Arts, the Gothic literary magazine, publishes work from VI, POC, and LGBTQI communities seeking to change the narrative on Gothic and erotic content and the ownership thereof. And she also is the author of Charlie Forever, a novel. Please welcome Natalie Sierra.
Happy to be back at Paging the Machine. If you've never heard my work before, I like to think of it as like love spells or something along those lines. So if you happen to fall in love with someone tonight, I'm so sorry, but I did warn you. And yeah, I post a lot on Instagram and I post a lot of work on there as well. So if you'd like to give me a follow on there, it's at Pandora Demise. Without further ado, I'm going to read an excerpt from my novel. It's called Charlie Forever and Ever. It's published with Flower Song Press. And it's about the future. It's about love. It's about technology. And it's about grunge. Because I'm a rock star girl. In the year 1926, the visionary cartoonist Carl Arnold created a cartoon in which he envisioned men and women walking around in the street, speaking on mobile telephone devices. 47 years would pass before technology would catch up to his vision. Early productions of analog cellular devices can only connect the caller to another caller on the same subscription service. These devices were large, though portable. The demand was there. Hundreds of thousands signed up for the service, but it was not profitable. It cost the corps too much to create a single device, and they shelved the idea until such a time as technology can catch up. P.D. Lamar's vision of frequency hopping could be employed by these companies to fill in the gaps, so to speak. Connect callers from one mobile device to the next. Towers would need to be built in order to connect the callers, bypassing the landline and becoming network agnostic. The frequencies are already there. All you need is a device capable of tapping into them. This takes place in 1990, by the way. All you need is a device capable of tapping into them. Tim Berners-Lee has created a free system capable of connecting a single device, the computer, to the World Wide Web, which is a genius name that reminds me of the tangle of my lover's mind. The internet as a source of connectivity to millions of people around the world. It will change the face of technology. Things will shift from government body use to mass commercial use, in which millions around the world will want a computer to connect to the world beyond them. Most importantly, it is free to the world. Unlike the networks that exist at universities around the world where only a learned person has access. Education, what a strange thing to deny to humanity. Imagine how much more advanced our society could be if we did not hoard knowledge. In time, I envision the computer and the cellular mobile device fusing into one single item, and from the cell phone, as I will call for the purposes of abbreviation, using the technology already present, it's only a matter of time, making them more portable in the same way the computer itself has evolved to become smaller. Future generations of cell phones will be capable of sending and making calls, but also connecting us to our friends, family, strangers, as I have received in my vision of Glennie, my father, and the little prince, past, present, and future. Their information transmitted to me from a device that has not been invented yet. We are here to change the future. We board the private plane, Rosemary following several steps behind us, checking over the itinerary for the 20th time. I know, I counted. Watched her check the paper again and again and again. Nervous. Again, flip the page. Rosemary does not like to fly planes, but she would never tell the boy god. He let her go. The plane rattles as the engines come alive, swirling into infinity. I see Rosemary out of the corner of my eye, gripping the armrests tightly. The boy god lights a match, shakes it out. I can smell his cigarette, hot tobacco, and chemical death swirling in the air above my head. I take a deep breath, pulling the chemicals into my lungs. I black out. I fall asleep and dream. I am standing in the foyer of the boy god's elegant sea-cliff home. The floor beneath my feet is warm, alarmingly warm. Something is wrong. The house rumbles as though it were a dragon waking from sleep. There is a heavily pregnant woman, bloody and bruised, but still very much alive, on the floor by a sealed entryway. She looks up and sees me. I am startled as she is startled. Our eyes lock onto each other instantly. They are the same shade of brown, wide and frightened. The house is burning to the ground around her. I can't move. Oh God, I can't move. Where am I? I can't move. I can't help her. I can't move. I can't help her. I can't move. I am startled awake by a bump in the road as the plane taxis on the runway in New York, 1991. I look over for a brief moment behind me at Rosemary and the boy god. Rosemary is sitting as still as possible, clenching the armrests. The boy god smiles when he sees me, leaning over to speak. The leather of the seats squeaks as he moves his body against it. We are home. We are nude now. Hours of painstaking research and late nights full of pills and little white piles of cocaine behind us. I do not remember how long I've been awake or alive. It's hurting. This life is hurting. But I have to finish it. I have to get through it. Just a little longer. We are nude now, his back against the bed, naked flesh on the carpeted floor, sitting up, reading to me, caressing my legs with his free hand. I am laying on the ground, my feet on his folding thigh. We are nude now, his hands are moving, running his fingers up and down the length of me. The timbre of his voice soft as he reads slim volumes of poetry the paper booklets I brought into the home. To whom do I dedicate my navel to, if not to you, my love? The first quarrel of my being, wormhole of democracy between mother and son, sheltered in the universe of her being. The center of it all has been discovered by you, brave soul, fair traveler. Do you dare ask for more? The book is cast aside, poetry by an unknown, a young female beggar poet whose book I purchased for $3 on a street corner. The boy god is breathing on my neck. His crush is like the ocean, the cold Atlantic that I cannot escape from, the sweet drowning death that comes to me in this cunning disguise, a man with skin like silk, the cracks repaired with gold. A man who places his fingers inside of me and moans into my ear. Do you dare ask for more? His smile is my smile. We smile in the dark, and he fills me with himself over and over again. My wild boy, my iron Apollo. The things of the deep earth that he is comprised of are rubbed into my skin. The dirt, the diamonds, the gold, the dust of starlight. His fingers wet from my center and pressed into my mouth. Charlie, my God, Charlie. Oh man, I am eating myself. I am eating up him. We are the trees, and the fruits are ourselves. What am I gonna so that little scene, when I wrote it, I thought about reading poetry in New York and thinking that Charlie, my character, was walking by and saw me reading poetry, and she gave me $3 for my book. And then, but I just thought, like, I'm never going to read poetry in a street in New York. That's crazy. And then, like a year later, I wound up reading poetry in New York on the street, and I was like, okay, well, if someone comes up to me right now, it's going to be really crazy. No one came up to me, but
What? No.
well, it was cool.
Oh.
Okay, well, this is one more, and then I'll get out of your hair. San Francisco. Francisco is bright and gray all in the same day. The colorful shops with daisies painted on the windows, rainbow flags hanging from the eaves of the building, the parted and fishnet stocking legs open above a shop doorway. The mannequins in the window wore garish costumes, their limbs struck in outlandish poses no human could perform. The car travels slowly past stone teens with imposing mohawks hanging out on a corner, drinking and passing a joint between them. A stylish couple walking two pedigree dogs, a homeless man smiling as he pushed a shopping cart with an errant wheel down a crowded street. The electric bohemians with their tongues on fire as they spit beat poetry, a generation too late. We passed a school in the middle of a crowded neighborhood. The children were all dressed in uniforms, screaming wildly as they ran circles around the schoolyard attendant. I was accustomed to a large and busy city, but something was different about San Francisco. Dirtier and brighter and lovelier than I could have ever imagined. I was in love instantly. In this ecstasy, in this longing, in this sulphurous soup of ourselves, locked in communion with vows traced with tongue and lapped from the bowels of our molten core, we cracked the earth and tumbled inside the passion of a Christ that witnesses the dead come back to life. We are humbled by our love as we are deep within its prison. We run our smooth hands along its roughened walls, marveling at its thick composition. Our own private Alcatraz, where we were prisoner and jailer alike. He gripped my forearms and pushed me against the whitewashed walls to the sea-cliff home, the home I had witnessed in a dream of the future, someone else's future, a time that did not belong to me. But this was the now, and in the now, his mouth moved roughly across the compass of my body, pointing north, to Golden Gate and heaven, to the south, where red-dirt roads led us to the depths of our deepest stupidity, to the west, where an ocean as ceaseless as the chatter of our drug-addled minds bellowed and sighed, to the east, where the Eden of our sorrow lay. Are you mine? He whispered as he shivered inside of me, his teeth tight in a grimace of climax and death, speed and oblivion, antidepressants, and the welcome bottle of champagne that had been chilling in an ice bucket upon our arrival. Yes, I whispered, equally possessed by his love and my death, tightening my thighs around his slim waist as he pushed harder against me. My lover, the minotaur in my maze of devotion. I am and always will be yours.
So Natalie, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it, and always a pleasure to have you read for events that I put together. So last year I put together the first ever like author pop up when I came back on social media, and it was at a coffee shop called the Reverse Orangutan Gondora, and I had Natalie and Fernando Albertsalinas read there. And since then, they've the original owners went out. They left it and gave it to two other new owners. So I feel uncomfortable doing shit there again. Um, and then that line about when you mentioned in your first excerpt about cigarettes, I actually had a cigarette an hour ago. I'm kidding. If my conservative family's watching on YouTube, yeah. But anyways, our next feature that was supposed to be here tonight couldn't make it. His name is Marcus Clayton. He's been around in the Long Beach area for years. I'm actually going to read a poem of his that was actually published. So last month, Natalie read for Trenches Full of Poets here. And she also read with Sarah Thursday, who was best known for her press that was around for a few years in the last decade called the Sadie Girl Press. And introduced to like phenomenal authors such as Nancy Lynn Wu, Rachel Reyes Lopez, and many other people that we kind of know throughout LANOC, such as like Mark Sid, Mariano Zano, Don Campbell, and whatnot. But the poem I read from Marcus Clayton, and I actually found out by the way today that it got published by Rip Rap like about a decade ago too, when he was in Cal State Long Beach. The poem that I'm reading here is from Sarah Thursday's one of her online publications, the Candace Collective, Long Beach Poets. and it's titled "I Can't Draw a Heart." Hearts are impossible to get down on paper. I worry so much about what right hue of red should mix into blue to match the veins connecting every which way. It's hard to capture the elegant curves of the muscle, curling them just enough to appear as soft as tissue looks, to give the hand permission to palm the whole thing like a pipe pear, oozing with flavor, begging to be bitten in the rib. There, there is this great difficulty in embracing hearts. A grip too firm pierces like nails into vital arteries. Too loose will explode, soaking toes and linoleum floors. It is too easy to dip a brush into the puddle to smear. Such shortcomings, but when you let it pump naturally onto the canvas, allowing your fingertips to carry it over and bleed at its own pace, the heart paints itself, looking far more real, feeling far more warm than a hand wrist deep inside a living chest. That's when a pair of scissors will feel just right to cut out the finished piece and pin it right on top of your old one, deflated and in need of a touch-up. So yeah, that is by Marcus Clayton there. So yeah, and he does poetry too. Next up that I'm gonna call up will be Jose Monroy, and I'm actually gonna pull up the bio that's here on the Facebook event here real quickly. Yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go. So Jose Monroy was born and raised in Guatemala, moved to the United States for college to get a degree in film, TV, digital media, and currently lives in Los Angeles working as a worldwide sales manager for New Films International. He spends his free time on adventures with his wife, playing soccer with friends, and watching movies on the big screen. His debut novel, Clearance and Safety Tales, which is here currently at a Patient Machine, was recently published by a Word with You Press. So please, everyone that's here, welcome Jose Monroy.
Yep, what's up, everybody? I'm Jose. First, I have 15 minutes to read, and I think the chapter I'm going to read only takes about 5 or 6 minutes to read. So I want to share a couple things. I came with my buddy Michael, so I just want to acknowledge my best friend Michael. I also want to acknowledge Jesse for hooking me up with this reading, Chris for hosting it. This is awesome. And then the authors, Natalie, Nathan, and then your name, Brian, and then who's the guy that just read his poem?
Oh, Marcus.
And Marcus. All right, cool. So just want to acknowledge everybody. And I also want to share a thought that I've been having recently that I wouldn't normally share because I don't share my mom and my wife, but my wife mainly tells me I should share more. So I feel that I was raised kind of in a conservative family, and I really don't feel like I really valued anything because I really resented my parents growing up. So I was kind of like an atheist, kind of dark little, goblin child. And in the past 2 years, I've really been wrestling with the question of what I value and what I value doing. And I really found that one of the things that I value experiencing and doing and creating is art. And I like meeting new artists. Like I had an awesome chat with Nathan. But I also kind of want to contextualize the evening and thank you guys for being here, because I know Michael's dealing with some shit in his life, as he was sharing with me in the hour and 15 minutes that it took us to get here. Mauricio worked all 10 hours today or something like that. He was saying that he made it out, and Nathan was sharing with me about his life as well. So we're all dealing with stuff, and I think one of the best ways to really explore the world, but also empathize with other people is with sharing art. So anyways, thanks for hosting this and letting us experience this. So that's what I want to share. Now the chapter I'm going to read, I'm not going to contextualize it, I'm just going to go for it. It's chapter 22 in my novel, Clearton City Tales. The name of the chapter is This Raging Hard-On Saved My Life. So, dirty work done. I say a quick goodbye to Spencer and Jonah, leaving them on their own. I head out of the hotel room over to the vigilante cops in room 105 to find out if they've heard anything they needed to hear. I knock quietly on the door, which quickly swings open. The whole crew is there. Daniels, without a word, grabs my shirt collar, drags me into the room as if I'm some sort of cartoon puppet, and shuts the door. Nice going, asshole. Daniels, buffoon. What did I do wrong? Yes, I'm the victim here. Nothing. I just like calling you an asshole. Daniels lets go of my collar. I loosen my tie. Carter, Stevenson, and Daniels head out. Officer Perez, slick and cool as ever, remains standing in front of me. Where the hell are they going? I'm upset and curious. Tavares, you did good. They're going to go knock on doors to see how severe the shrimp acid situation is. Yeah, okay. When can I get my 20 grand? We'll get that to you tomorrow. All right. When I have it, I can meet with Shrimp Boy, and we can do what we have to do. Where's Ava? The girl's asleep in the bedroom. Don't really know how I feel about being burdened with a civilian, but if she's safer with us, I can't complain. Sorry to hear about your ex. She's an asshole, and again, so am I. Perez gets a little closer and offers a look of condolence. I accept it. She places her hand on my shoulder. What do you mean? She inches closer to me. Her upright body demonstrates extreme confidence in her actions. The curtains are closed, and I hear raindrops rapping on the windows. I'm too busy. It's all about managing priorities. She drops her hands to my waist. She's an inch shorter than I am. We look into each other's eyes. I'm always too busy. I'm too complacent. I can't stop for just a moment and appreciate life for what it is. You can start now. She raises her head and kisses me. I kiss her back. She starts to take her shirt off. I take my coat off, and then we help each other get naked. She's strong. Her arms are curved, tight with muscle, and her fingers thread themselves through my hair. We kiss furiously. We kiss as if we don't know each other. We kiss like none of this matters. This is the most peaceful place in my universe, the absolute present. My chest throbbing, beating, her hands caressing my knee. This and that happening tells me something that I'm alive. My body reacting, this biology acting up, I'm alive. It wasn't like this a second ago, and it gets better. My heart punching the inside of my chest feels as if it were a shooting star. Suddenly, lightning cackles outside. An instant later, thunder shakes the windows and the rain splatters down the windows. Perez and I seize each other on the floor in the dark. My state of mind here can't be compared to any other. I waver between absolute stillness and rampant excitement. I lay quietly beside Perez. I start to relax when Seth comes to mind. My mind starts to spin. I should talk to Seth soon. Should I even try to save Gordy now? Is he worth it? Is Seth worth it? Killing Shrimp Boy is worth it. Yeah, this is worth it. You know, you're a really nervous guy. I don't think so. You could do with more of this. You hold it all in. You gotta scream sometimes. Not enough people scream to let out their frustrations. Screaming? Okay, I'll try. I let out a soft, then another one, louder this time. Then I scream. I scream at the top of my lungs. Perez covers my mouth. I take her hand off and I scream as loud as I fucking can. I want the entire Tribune Hotel to hear me and pause to listen. This state of mind here, it can't be compared to any other. I want to be content. All this bullshit needs to be over. I just want to take care of my mom. I want to lead a normal life. Find a woman, have a job that doesn't involve me pretending to be good, cleaning up after scumbag lawyers. I'm a scumbag. This all ends this week. How is Ava not awakened yet? Must be in deep sleep. Perez and I start to put on our clothes. Can I keep this watch? Will you be listening in on me all the time? It only works at a certain distance. A few doors down is fine. You won't need it anymore. I like it though. It works. It tells time. Maybe it'll help me appreciate it more. Be mindful of it, not appreciative. That's a difference. Got it. I've got to meet with Seth and Gordy. The sooner we settle all this, the sooner I can pause and be mindful. Dad, you've been an awesome help. Pay no attention to the guy's douchiness. They're just as thankful for you as I am. We finish dressing. I smile. Thank you. I mean it. When Ava wakes up, please tell her to take care. I leave. It all feels like a dream. The darkness in the room renders what happened as a blacked out memory. It was all too cold for my liking, like an assembly line process. This leads to that leads to this, a nice that and this, like that. The elevator door opens and it's empty. I guess not all of them use elevator boys in the dead space, and it reminds me of Waldo. We all need to laugh, smile, complain, and scream a little more. Let it all out. Leave your breath on the dance floor and regret none of it. Leave with the lights out, knowing all is in order. Know you've used life all up, and there's nothing left to do. Elevator lights blink as I head down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1, G. Back to Earth. Door opens, and one of the sketchy guys, the one with the ginger beard and insanely freckled face, greets me with a quick jab to my upper lip. My tooth chips the skin off the inside of it. I taste blood. The other sketchy dude comes over and helps Ginger Dude drag me over into the room where I spoke with Ayla yesterday. Employees only. Ginger locks the door. The other sketchy dude, who looks exactly like Saturday Night Fever's John Travolta, slick hair and all, slams me angrily into bed again. You think I won't kill you? Ginger's serious. John Travolta dude steps right up to my face. Where's the girl, motherfucker? He can't help. He can't help looking pretty, even when he's being bad. I'm minding my own business, guys. You should do the same. Ginger pulls out a thick 10-inch rope with 2 knots at the end of it. They spin me around hard. The rope is now around my neck, getting tighter. It doesn't take long for it to burn into my skin. Travolta's in front of me again. Where's the girl, asshole? He's quiet, but a hard ass, and he punches me in the belly again. The pain is almost unbearable. I can't even bend over because Ginger's still pulling on that rope, arching my head and back. My mouth is filled with blood from being choked, and it feels like someone's sanding my neck. My stomach is sore as all hell. I'm squeezing as hard as I can, and until you tell us what we want to know, I won't let go. We're both assholes. I spit blood into Travolta's face, and suddenly I have the weirdest feeling, a tingling in my pants. I'm getting an erection. Ginger squeezes harder and pulls back more. I gasp for breath, losing my chance at timing my last one. No more air, suffocating. I squeal like a donkey, yee-hawing for the life of me. Yep, I'm getting hard. Is this it? My body reacting with my last boner to the final moments I'm alive? I like it. I like being tied up. This probably is intense as I'll ever have it, so I might as well take advantage. What the fuck? This fucking creep has a heart on! Travolta wipes the blood off his face. His eyes bulge out of his skull. He stares straight at my hard dick. Ginger loosens the rope a moment. It's my chance. I almost ask him to keep squeezing as I swing my arm around as hard and fast as I can, aiming to walk straight at his temple. I pop him perfectly. He falls over, passes out. I snag the rope and swing it around Travolta's neck, rubbing it furiously as he yells for me to stop. I can smell the skin burning on his neck now. I stop for half a second as some compassionate sense takes over. It's only for a moment though, because as he tries to grab the rope to stop pain and burning, I kick him in the gut and he falls over and throws up. Ginger, Travolta, I nodded them withered on the floor. I don't know where the girl is. Stay the fuck away from me. I never thought I'd say this, but my raging heart-on saved my life. Travolta looks helpless. Ginger's in a fetal position on the floor and I leave the employees only room. My neck stings and my lip bleeds. I raise the collar of my coat, trying to cover my lips and whatever awful rope burn marks I have on my neck. All I can do is waltz out of the hotel, as it's been a hell of a Monday, and it's not over yet. Let's see what Seth and Gordy have to say for themselves.
So real quickly, so there's an anthology out there called Writing for Life, but there should be an anthology called My Raging Heart on Saved My Life, right? All right, so Brian, you want to make that little anecdote? Yeah.
I never expected to hear how hard on saving someone's life. So, I mean, we're all familiar with it getting in our way and embarrassing us, but yeah. So, last reader of the night, Nathan Castellanos is born and raised in LA. Born and raised LA local from Highland Park, California. Wide-ranging interests include Jungian psychology, sex magic, tarot, Gnosticism, martial arts, yoga, Zen Buddhism, culinary, communications theory, and the socio-political works of Mike Davis, all of which informed Salted Plastic, Tales of Gentrification, his ongoing series of dark comic novels featuring protagonist Miguel Lyon. Let's welcome Nathan Castellanos.
Sorry, I'm broken.
It's all good.
I mean, we all are in one way or another. Okay, I'm gonna read 3 different ones because I've been told lately, Nathan, you're just rambling about gentrification and cultural appropriation over and over again. You always say your book's about these variant things, so prove it. So I'm gonna do something comedic, something serious, and something sad. I'm gonna start with the comedic one first. Now, a little preamble. I grew up in the punk rock, about scene, and I started noticing that there's a lot of businesses that are using this whole thing as kind of like a cultural branding scheme. And then I find out who owns the places, and then I'm like, find out they're not really into the whole thing, that it's kind of just a way to brand with someone else's culture. So this was my rebuttal for that. And also, this takes place in Long Beach, so that's why I chose to read this one. Friday, October 10th, 1:15 p.m. Dalton Gentrovich popped a key into the front door of his latest property acquisition in Long Beach, a former Celtic Rite Lodge on 4th Street, just a few blocks away from Cherry Avenue. Turning to the marketing consultant who he had flown in from New York for the weekend, Dalton smiled in anticipation of the meeting they were going to have with two other co-investors, namely Dalton's mommy and daddy via Zoom call. So, you really think this is the kind of area for the type of package you're suggesting? Dalton asked, dumb fuck excited expression on his face. Definitely, Kevin Crumb Snatcher beamed with enthusiasm. It'll work both here and at the location you just bought on Hollywood and Hobart in Hollywood. The demographic of that particular package catalogs is deep in numbers, both in Long Beach and Hollywood. Okay, I trust you, Cat Dog, but for the sake of presentation, make sure you show my parents, my other board members, make sure you show them all the packages you have so we can really sell them on the idea. I got you, bro. Gotta look more professional and ethical than I am or ever will be, considering that I'm a scumfuck asshole that just codifies culture so I can water it down and turn it into marketing strategies for stupid shit like fake otaku coffee bars and death metal burger joints. Stepping inside, Dalton and Kevin surveyed the vast open hall which had been used for over 100 years for lodge gatherings, initiation events, and innumerable members-only secret rituals. A lot of history here, Dalton said in a if I make a vague comment that insinuates I know something without elaborating manner, then maybe everyone will think I'm highly informed instead of the winging it, life-hacking, crumb-snatching little shit that I am. In truth, he knew less than nothing about a Celtic Rite Lodge, or any type of lodge, other than the fact that his great-grandpappy had once been a member of an order called the Knights of the Ivory Circle Jerk back in Ohio. He never had taken the time to look up the meaning behind the lodge name, but his father had one time hinted that he'd find out at the fraternity initiation when he went to Brown University, whatever the hell that meant. Trailing off there, Kevin asked, Dalton weakly laughed, trying to tune out a memory of him and Kevin being mentored by their big brother, Ian Maypole, the resident fraternity load goater. Well, looks like the previous owners left some stuff, Kevin cut in, sensing Dalton go down a rabbit hole that neither of them wanted to revisit. Some murals, a few chairs, and tables, even some of their altar shit. I think I might be able to integrate some of it into the theme we're looking for this place. Sounds good, bro, Dalton chimed, pulling up a few folding chairs to an old banquet table in the middle of the hall. They both took a seat, and Kevin laid a large binder and a tablet on the table. The binder was labeled Cultural Branding Schemes, aka being an entryist asshole pays off, whatever the hell that meant. Okay, so you said we got about a half an hour before the Zoom meeting with the other investors, right? So let's go over the punk rock pizzeria plan that you and me already agreed on. It's always good to rehearse beforehand when your plan is to sell on a particular effort. Giving me some of your trade secrets, huh? Dalton smiled. I don't need this. My pain pills are kicking in. Yep, just don't go telling Brandy Brand or Seal G Spot or any of the other marketing people I know you did biz with, bro. Okay, so what I'm thinking first, for the soft opening at least, is wall-to-wall old school punk rock flyers, heavy metal stickers, and disheveled B-movie horror posters all over the restaurant and in the bathroom, with a pseudo-goth Victorian decor and lighting in one of the bathrooms, big red lights with a few pieces of junk furniture that sort of look 19th century but aren't. I know a guy that runs a rescue furniture clinic where we could get a few pieces. You mean one of those places where they take trash furniture off the street and sell it for 10 times more than it was worth when it was brand new, just because they sanded and painted it, and because they know their unconsciously vain customers will love playing on the virtue signal value of owning recycled, repurposed decor? Exactly, bro. And don't worry, he won't charge no 10 times the value for me, dog. Sounds good. And the back of house, the pizza oven and shit, you think we should have like one of those full disclosure kitchens in the middle of the hall instead? Like like a roundabout that can double as a bar and grill where all the patrons can sit and see that everything is ethically made. I hear they're all the rage for highly pretentious assholes like you and me who want to make sure that we can brag about the woke-centric value of the cuisine we consume in the hope that this will balance out our lack of personal soul, empathy, and substance. Believe it or not, man, as much as that might be a draw for initial customers, I've been to more than a few focus groups and seminars lately where studies were revealed that indicated this sort of kitchen leads to lower food quality and poor chef and line food service when crowds are thick on a busy day. Apparently being watched like zoo animals raises their cortisol levels, resulting in body pain and lower functionality, which in turn creates a lack of consistency in dishes, more frequent kitchen staff call-outs, and overall bad rapport between employees. Shit, you knew these fuckers had feelings. Ha 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 ha. You're such a dick, Kevin said half-heartedly, not really meaning it. He could care less about what him and Kevin called kitchen grunts. In his and Dalton's world, no matter what your level of culinary skill was, if you weren't a Michelin star chef with high brand recognition or some well-connected asshole with a show on Food Network, then you were just another piece of equipment to be used and minimally pleased just enough to keep you from quitting. The bottom line was the only line with assholes like Dalton and Kevin. Zero empathy for anyone but themselves. And what about sustainability, Dalton asked. As in, what do we do if the horror/punk rock theme outlives its magnetic draw for customers? Kevin replied. Simple that. We just move on to the next well-branded gimmick, like, say, a Nashville hot chicken sandwich spot that plays old school soul and R&B with a gritty back alley theme decor. Damn, you really know how to play this whole culture chameleon shit to a T, don't you, bro? Yep. Comes with the territory when you're an irreverent sack of shit that only learns about other people's cultures so you can read it out of their hands, water it down, and sell it back to them as a shitty facsimile of its former glory. I'm a spineless codifier that knows how to cozy up to and crowd and vampire anybody and vampire their hobbies, beliefs, and passions. You sure are, bro. And that talent is going to make us both rich as hell in Los Angeles, Dalton being with scripted camaraderie. A quick glimpse of a serpent's tongue flickering out of his mouth as visions of dollar signs and cultural cataloging swirled in his mind. And so you know I'm not a complete monster. I'm going to read something that's less critical. Okay. This is an introduction of a character I created called Dagmar Ashkenazi, aka she's known in my story as the Venus of Los Angeles. She is an avatar of Inanna, Ishtar, all these old school like goddesses of sex. And basically her and the protagonist Miguel and this other girl Lydia, they take this psychedelic that makes them find out that they've had this bizarre love triangle for the last 2,000 years. But this scene was where she was kind of just first introduced. Friday, October 23rd, 11:25 p.m. Lydia saw Dagmar across the room in her usual reserved booth with bottle service in the corner. A few of her entourage pets perched on either side of her. More dime a dozen art school hopefuls, overeducated and unimaginative. The lash was their element for sure. Dagmar wore one of her overpriced couture get-ups that Lydia always had a feeling cost $5 worth of labor and materials to make. It got tagged at a few $1,000s simply because the right formula of store location, media petting, networking, and general collaborative hype manufacturing had infused the thing with phantom value. Pretty though, she thought. I don't think I've ever seen this woman wear the same thing twice. The red vinyl bodysuit Dagmar had on was form-fitted, head to toe, with a V-cut collar showing her pale olive cleavage. The forearms were inlaid with some sort of highly polished stone that circumvented them, looking strikingly like ebony or obsidian veined with gold ore. How the fuck is that possible, Lydia thought? It looks like some sort of alien armor. Fuck, she's gorgeous, and nearly impossible to say no to because of it. Lydia stared as she walked, taking in Dagmar's heavy copper, ribcage-length curls, her pale olive skin, and the curves and muscle tone of her 5'6" body. She was wearing her green contacts as always. She never liked her natural brown eyes. Lydia knew Dagmar noticed her, but it wasn't Dagmar's style to wave, smile, shout out, or let on in any way that she acknowledged Lydia's presence. That would just be all too human of her. A few loose comments came to Lydia's ears, and quite a few fingers pointed as she walked by. people smirking over her headdress and jacket. Yep, that's right, she thought. I didn't get the memo that anything atypical and outside the stringent diet of H&M or American Apparel fashion formula isn't welcome here. God bless Dagmar for that. No matter how full of shit and engrossed in this society she is, she's one of the few people I know that is still willing to give half a fuck about dressing out of the ordinary. She just pays more for it than I do. As she walked past the front door bar, she caught the eye of one of those rare to be seen animals in Los Angeles these days. The guy was tall and brown skinned, hair styled into a pompadour, clothes all denim and real leather. He had a heavy tobacco scent and was full of an energy that was socially archaic, heavy, and fun in small doses, but a burden in anything more than that. The vibe he gave off was highly palpable, sickening and exciting at the same time. She felt her energy drop from sternum to navel at the sight/feel of him. The way he stood, his facial mannerisms, making it obvious that he was judging everyone in the room, including her, made her nerves light up like the same way they did when she was about to pop a quad dose of Percocet. Jumpy excitement over the 2 hour high she'd be riding on it could cause the feeling like shot to hell shit for the 2 to 3 days following that brief amount of flight. Still a few LA locals around, huh? She smiled at the guy, loving how he was taken aback that she, a total stranger, knew what he was. He smiled back, was about to approach her and say something, but his friend stopped him, tapping him on the shoulder, asking a question. She winked, turned, and kept walking towards Dagmar's booth, asking a cocktail waitress for a double hibiki and a glass of ice water on the way there. The table in the corner, she told the waitress, leaving a $50 tip on her tray. No matter how good she had it now, she'd never forgotten what a shit job it had been serving tables when she first came to Los Angeles. So she always tipped heavy. What was that? Dagmar asked as Lydia got to the table, her deep accent booming over the club's music in a way that few voices could. Dagmar's father had been a finance specialist in Prague, Zurich, Vienna, Berlin, Tel Aviv, and briefly in the Arab Emirates. Her accent a definite consequence or benefit of, depending on the ears receiving it, of her upbringing. Lydia had always loved that voice. The same memory always flashed in her head whenever she heard it. That deep, heavy, almost masculine accent would always be synonymous with lying in Dagmar's Italian rosewood bed after sex, eating Persian baklava. Dagmar's heavily toned legs wrapped around Lydia's waist. Lydia lying there watching Holy Mountain or some new anime, trying her best to get Dagmar invested while she feigned some small attention, pat Lydia on the head and kept a tight visual on her phone. Nothing, lady, Lydia responded to Dagmar's question, using the word lady the same way Jasmine did with her when they spoke, trying to shake off the memories already breeding a want in her to just tell Dagmar to cut the verbal ritual bullshit so they could get back to her place already. I was just setting up some insurance for the night in case you piss me off, she smiled. Don't want to go home empty-handed. Funny, Dagmar replied. You really love the user-friendly type, don't you? I do. I really do, Lydia replied with sarcasm. Speaking of, can you get your fucking lemmings to move so I can sit down? Dagmar nodded at the two people sitting to her left and right in the booth, pointing something helpful. It's obviously some of her new discoveries, hoping for whatever glamour crumbs she'd eventually throw their way once she vampired out of them a sufficient amount of recreation. The boy was Anglo, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, lanky with feminine features, fitted khaki shorts, cheap Target fedora, red chucks, a vinyl biker jacket, and no shirt, showing off a smooth chest. The girl was possibly Asian and African-American mix, short and full-figured, wearing neon pink vinyl gloves and hot pants, black studded heels, and a black cheesecloth tank top. She had a stern facial expression that showed she'd already been playing at the LA networking circuits for a minute now, long enough to get a little bit bitter. They got up and headed to the dance floor, Dagmar dropping a small baggie into the palm of the girl's outstretched palm as she sidled out of the booth, the girl staring daggers at Lydia as she walked away. I see you got that boy trained to your particular brand of bullshit loyalty already, Lydia commented, smiling as she sat down, tactilely friendly, putting her hand on Dagmar's thigh while maintaining the role of enemy on a verbal level. Dagmar sighed, took a look at Lydia and smiled, a gesture of ineffable understanding on her face. If you're still looking for the kind of kosher and polite business exchange and contract theory that they talk you to bed in at night with all those college business law classes you took, I think you better become a lawyer for a nonprofit, Lydia. I read about your job, by the way, read all the popcorn editorials, and then got the real deal from seeing a Berger yesterday. I'm sure you were daydreaming about the place finally becoming as comfortable and personal as your bathroom. still not understanding that business is business. But I thought by now you'd realize how things really work in the real world. Dagmar stopped, a crashing commotion coming from the front door, from the front dance room floor, taking away her attention. Lydia stopped, looked in and listened, smiling. The pill sheet popped before coming into the club, activating from all the excitement. It's that guy, she smiled at Dagmar, her face flushed. That thing at the bar, she finished, wide-eyed excitement on her face. Okay, Dagmar replied. I know the drill. I guess I'm not enough for you tonight, huh? You've only got yourself to blame for that, honey. Lydia snapped back as the waitress from earlier handed her whiskey. So do I bait him back to your place on my own, or are we going to actually do some work together for once? Dagmar popped one of her designer drugs into her mouth, took a sip of the Grand Cru Class Bordeaux that they kept at the bar just for her, and stared with a piss-giddy look at Lydia. I got it covered. It's my job to know what everybody wants and how to give it to them in exchange for even more of what I want. She leaned across the table, snaking her palm up Lydia's forearm, her heavy red curls draping across the table as she looked up through her brows at Lydia. You should know that better than anybody by now, no?
All right. So thank you for that, Nate. I will say that I do love, whenever I pass by Hollywood, passing by Hobart, and then when you mentioned that whole thing about like they're trying to, proposition to their investors, aka their parents, it made me think about like some songs and some like statements from like the early 2000s about like, Daddy, give me a credit card, Daddy, give me keys, like making fun of Paris Hilton in the early 2000s and all that, like when her, I'm sorry to say this slut next door era, that a lot of people would call upon that and whatnot before she went to jail, rehabilitated. Yeah. But that concludes Trenches Full of Pearls for August. Thank you all for tuning in on YouTube. Thank you all for being here tonight. Is there any events you want to talk about real quick regarding Los Angeles literature?
Los Angeles Literature posts a list of weekly events each and every Sunday, and there's plenty of events that are coming up between now and this Sunday, and you can go to Los Angeles Literature, check them out. And I know one of them is City and Tongues, which Mauricio in the audience, he's one of the features. He has a recently released book, so that's out in Pomona, and I always get a big crowd, and there's plenty of others that you can check out at Los Angeles Literature, and even me doing it, trying to be as exhaustive as I can. There's so much that you can go to a poetry event every day, and I can't remember them all. So I even sometimes look at my list just to remind myself if there's anything I want to go to. Yeah, you can check them out there.
So yeah, so that event at Obsidian Tongues will be this Saturday at 7 p.m. I believe, and it ends until like around 10 p.m. at Café con Micros in Pomona, downtown Pomona to be exact. You're gonna take a couple of local transit buses there. You can take the Metrolink there, and it's a fun time. I've been there several times, trying to kill time, getting away from Cal Poly Pomona and whatnot. And then I went there a couple Sundays, especially recently. And also, speaking of which, next Tuesday, I know Mauricio is going to be featuring at the birthday party for Jessica Wilson, who is the founder of LA Prose Society. I know that Nathan Castellanos read at one of their open mics at Midnight Books in Whittier. So check that out on Tuesday. What time is that again on Tuesday? Oh, okay, sounds good. For sure.
7:30 to 10:30 at the Zula Den in LA.
Oh yeah, right off of Jefferson Boulevard. Okay. Yeah, like around just west of West Adams. Yeah. Cool spot. And there's been a couple cool events that I've been seeing that have been hosted there. Like some kind of like a couple workshops. Some that were hosted by like the Fictitious Professor, aka Paul Kurz. Yeah, he's a pretty cool piano player. And yes, I know you're doing something.
No, I just wanted to say that Jessica had every Wednesday at 6, she has kind of like a radio thing where she takes requests on LA Voices on YouTube.
Oh yeah, the reading in bed.
Yeah,
Reading in bed.
yeah,
On,
reading in bed, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Radio Lean.
Yeah, her interview series or whatever. She gets a writer or poet and she interviews them. And
It's pretty much just in bed. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Mauricio's been a guest. James Coates, who some of us know, has been a guest. Fernando Salinas has been a guest there. Natalie Garcia, who is Puerto Alegria, has also been a guest there. Yeah, so many guests, like, and I've caught most of them, and they've all been pretty good. Yeah, so if you can, check that out. It's on public radio, by the way. I don't remember the exact name of the like radio station. Radio Lean, but it's like a 10 something FM, but that's what I was trying to get at. But 101.5. Okay, for sure. Yeah, so that's the one. Over is based out in like Silmar. Yeah, so if you can check that out, that'd be cool. And anything else going on in the community or anything with Church School of Poets? Oh, perfect. Sounds good. Sounds good. We're looking forward to that because that's been going on here for the last like year and a half, and it's always been a great time here. And then for those that don't know, it's an open mic as well, so you can come and read after the features read or before the features read, depending on how it works. So yeah, for sure. And then do you have any announcements, Natalie? And water's amazing. No, but she started this new bookstore, online bookstore called Portable Magic. So congratulations for that. Oh, work in progress. Oh, for sure, for sure. Nice. I'm looking forward to checking that out, especially like when it's more, like especially when it's physical. Yeah, for sure. All right, well that concludes Trans School of Prose for August. Thank you all for being here, and I'm gonna.
Or I guess
Oh, yeah.
since we're at PJ's Machine, you should always like keep up on what their events are and what other
Yeah.
good readings and writers that come through here, and maybe you'll find your next favorite writer from a different event here. And
Yeah.
check them out on their like Instagram and stuff, or even from my list of events. And yeah, just continue to support them.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, let's end this. And it's